Servus and hello, my name is Fireball313 and this is a new episode of Beyond the Game. Like you guys know, this channel is about retail games, and so I present some awesome items and maybe not so good ones. And with the first game, we step into Middle-earth. That is Lord of the Rings: War in the North. This is a video game produced by Snowblind Studios and got published by Warner Brothers Game. The release of this game was October 2011. It came out for the PC, for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I was very interested in this title because of many reasons. First, I love the previous work of Snowblind Studio, and that was Baldur's Gate: Dark Alliance. That was an action RPG similar like Diablo, and I really enjoyed this game, especially the co-op mode. And my girlfriend and I, we play this a lot, really a lot. And my girlfriend is a Lord of the Ring fan, so when Snowblind Studios announced this game, I was expecting actually a game like Baldur's Gate: Dark Alliance, just with the setting of the Lord of the Ring. And so when it got released, actually, I was a little bit disappointed because, I mean, yeah, technically this is an action RPG, but the perspective is different than like Baldur's Gate: Dark Alliance, because like games like Diablo, you see everything from the top. But this game, actually, the camera was behind your character, so it was an action RPG with a third-person perspective. And then you had, of course, a split screen, and my girlfriend played it, and I played it for some hours, and we really didn't like the way how the game got presented, how the storyline was. I mean, there was, how to say, a lot of value when you are a Lord of the Ring fan, if you are a Lord of the Ring fan, but this was not enough for us to play it till the end, actually. And quite, I think, in the middle of the campaign, we really lost interest, and both we never finished the game, actually. Quite funny is, just a couple of weeks ago, I finished the game for the first time. Yeah, and I mean, back then when the game got released, I read a lot of reviews about that, and yeah, and the reviews was really mixed in many ways. Many people praised the graphics and the tone, but to criticize the combat mechanics and the shallow storyline. Yeah, and by the way, the characters are not really awesome also, you know. You have just your typical team of a dwarf, a magician, and a hunter. That's it, actually. Yeah, and I mean, yes, if you are a Lord of the Ring fan, you can enjoy more or less the storyline, but you can compare something really with a lot of death. You know, it's very shallow. Actually, just War in the North is just a lame excuse, you know, to kill a lot of orcs and orquais, stuff like that. Yeah. If you want to complete the game, it takes you something like 8-9 hours. Back then it had an online capability, but I mean, in this modern time, because it's a PlayStation 3 game, it doesn't work anymore. But you can still play this in couch co-op if you like split screen things. My girlfriend and I, we like actually more when we share the same screen, like in Diablo 3, for example, or Baldur's Gate: Dark Alliance as a good example. Yeah. The main reason why I actually want to include this in this video is not because the game is so awesome, it's quite mediocre. It's about what you got for your money back then when you bought it. I mean, it was a full price. It was 70 euro, and it was not just a standard. I mean, yes, this is a standard version, but it didn't look so standard back then, because you got a nice hologram, but you guys can already see more or less. So normally, like you guys know, the games always look like that, you know, standard packaging for PlayStation 3. But with War in the North, War in the North, sorry. Yes, Warner Brothers put a paper sleeve with a holograph on top of it, and this really adds to the presentation, you know. This gives a feeling that this game is something special. And I don't know if you can see it through the camera because of the holographic feature. The image has a 3D perspective, so you can see here the snowflakes in front, and you can see here the name, the title. Yes, and it moves a little bit, and that looks really nice. The only thing what really fucks up this presentation is this sticker here, but this is unfortunately here inside this hologram. You can take it out or something like that. This sticker you can take off if you want. By the way, this is the German version, and they claim it's 100% uncut. Because, like you guys know, in Germany there is a certain censorship when we talk about violence, you know, like chopping off heads or hands or stuff like that, or too much blood, you know, when we talk about headshots with brutal animations. That is still a thing in Germany, but this game, because it is fantasy, more or less, this game is totally uncensored. Yes. The question is, do you want to play this game? If you are a fan of Lord of the Rings and you like action RPGs and you don't have, let's say, you don't expect too much if we talk about gameplay, then you can look it on the internet, or you go to your local video game store. In used condition, you get the game already for 25 €, and then it's mostly already with the paper sleeve, because I think it adds to the presentation when you buy it. Yeah. So, but let's look at what we get. And this is, of course, the front, and I think this looks really nice. And I like always, I don't know, when I have a hologram, I always must do this to scratch on the surface, because it has a funny sound, you know. Yeah. The back looks like that. New companions come together and experience a new storyline, brutal, realistic fights, and yeah. And that was a big thing. You could play this together online, even with, let me think, yeah, till 3 people. Actually, just local was just 2 people. Online, it was possible with 3. And these are the 3 main heroes. So, and he's the typical dwarf, you know, he's a brawler. She is an elf and a magician, you know, she's a healer in the team. And the human guy has a bow, yeah. And he is a medium character, so you can fight in close combat, but with his bow, he is quite agile also. Yeah. So when I had my first playthrough, I chose him because, yeah, he is quite an easy character. If you just play alone, the computer takes control of the other characters, and they heal and they reanimate you. So this is quite nice, actually. Yeah. And let's say I finished the game something like 9.5 hours, and it was okay. In the beginning, I was expecting really an awesome storyline and awesome gameplay, but yeah, if you are through your expectations and you don't expect too much, then this game is okay, let's say. But I was really disappointed, because Snowblind Studios really hit a really a huge hit with Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, and with this game, unfortunately not. So this was, at least for me, a little disappointment. Yeah. When you take the paper sleeve away, and I must really say it's very, very solid, very important, you know. Sometimes you have paper sleeve what is really, really thin, and then it really breaks already down, you know, because of the weight. For example, this is quite funny. I can place this on top of this, you know, and it even can hold it, you know. I can put even my mouse on it, and it still doesn't budge, so it's quite stable. Yes. And this is nice. So there's really a value here, you know, really good quality. Without the paper sleeves, the game looks like that, and the back is completely the same. So no secrets here, and yeah. And what is already a huge bummer is when you take everything out, you just have a white background, no alternative cover, or maybe a background cover, you really what fits with the Blu-ray and with the manual. Yeah, because this is the standard version, you get some things, and I can show you this, guys. Wait, this is the manual. You get some weapons. You get Sting and you get Andril. This is the sword of Aragon, and this is the sword of Frodo. Yes, and then of course you have a DLC code, and then you can, if you think this is so much important for the experience, you can download them. Then you have an armor for the human. And then you have an armor for the elf, for the magician, and then you have an armor for the dwarf. Besides that, you have some commercials here, some jewelry. Yeah, if you are into this actually, and then you see some prices about that. That is actually the DLC stuff, you know. I'm not a huge fan of that. I mean, this is just a standard version, and then I'm grateful for this, but this is not stuff what I really need for the gaming experience. Yeah. When we talk about the menu is quite thin already. I mean, it's 2011, so you can't expect so much in this time. But what they do is actually they give a small introduction, you know, about the storyline. And they tell you how you create a cooperative game through the PlayStation Network. Here is about the control scheme. And here is about the possibilities, what you can do in the game. Here they give some information about the characters. What is really a shame is it would be nice if they would place some stats, you know, that you see how many health has the dwarf and what are their abilities and stuff like that. And here is some basic information about the game, in this case the heads-up display. Yeah, and that's actually is in this case, so it's not so much. By the way, there is a special collection of Lord of the Rings War in the North, and I didn't knew about that. I thought just there was only the standard version and that's it. No, but this is actually a huge box with a big figure in it, and it's quite a big thing I saw on the internet. I don't know the price about that, and if I can, let me think. I think the figure was something like the Urukai or something. But I don't remember quite well in this case. So if you are into this, of course you can go for that. But for me, this, let's say, if I would see it in the wild for a small price, I would buy it maybe, you know, and then I can review it here in the channel. But to play the game, this version was already enough for me. So for just a standard game for 70 euro, you know, you get a nice presentation and some download codes. So this is a thumbs up. If we talk about the game itself, you know, it's really mediocre. And this is a game what you really just play one time, and that's it. So there is not a huge replay value like Diablo or Baldur's Gate, things like that, unfortunately. Yeah, and if you are a Lord of the Ring fan, yeah, this is maybe a thing, but my girlfriend was really, really disappointed, and she is a big fan of Lord of the Rings. With the next game, we step away from the Middle-earth scenario and we move into the future in the year 2077 with the game Cyberpunk 2077. This was the first version what came out on the console, so especially PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. When Cyberpunk came out on the PC, it was a major success. People praised the graphics, the storyline, the atmosphere, the soundtrack, the possibilities. On the console side, it was a little bit different because of so many technical problems, bugs, frame rate issues, just name it. This game was a mess on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. So, for example, Sony was even forced to remove the game from the digital store. And this version I bought in a second-hand store. I, of course, because I love future scenarios, you know, like games like Blade Runner, for example. I'm a huge fan. And Cyberpunk goes in the same direction, actually. So I was, of course, waiting for this game to be released on the console. And before I bought it, of course, I knew about the technical issues, let's call it like that. But when I saw this in 6 months after the release in a second-hand store, I bought it for just 20 euro. And this is just the standard version. And it is so incredible what you get with the standard version. By the way, there was an Ultimate Edition, no, sorry, a collector's edition, what came out also for 370 euro. And later they released the Ultimate Edition for the PlayStation 5 with Phantom Liberty also. And I knew actually when I bought this game, this will be a mess. So I just waited till CD Projekt Red fixed all the issues. And this is quite funny. If you have a PlayStation 5 and you have the PlayStation 4 version, you can download for free the PlayStation 5 version. You just need the disc in this case, and every time if you want to play the game, the disc must be inside the console. And then you can enjoy the game like it should be on the console, and it is glorious. It is glorious in so many ways. I made a long play about that, and I finished till the end, and I was really, really hooked. And last week I was in a second-hand store and I was looking for Phantom Liberty, and it was still quite expensive, so I'm still waiting for in retail to get Phantom Liberty also. Yeah, and maybe I can present it then in the channel also. Yeah, but now let's talk about the standard version. I mean, you guys know the PlayStation release was in December 2020 and the PlayStation 5 release was in February 2022. This is the standard edition, and this was 70 euro in the store. If you want it with all the content included, then you must pay something like 27 euro. And that is really cheap if you ask me, because this has already the value of a collector's edition if you ask me. And you see CD Projekt really love their fans and they want to give them an awesome experience, not just with the video game itself, with the presentation, the packaging and all the things what comes with it. Yes, and so for me this is a real joy, a real treatment to show this in my channel. Yeah, and by the way, it's not sponsored. It's just my opinion. So what we first have is actually a paper sleeve, and the paper sleeve really looks exactly like the standard packaging. So we look about that. And on the back, actually, you get some information and some nice screenshots and art designs. Yeah, Night City changed everything, and they explain a little bit about the storyline. Yeah. When you take the paper sleeve away, it's a little bit thin compared with Lord of the Rings. This is not so good, I must really say, because you can see already, because it's thin paper, it's elastic in this case. Yeah, but this is a minor complaint, you know, because the value of the rest of this packaging is really, really cool. Yeah, so, and oh, by the way, here they tell you already what you get with this version. You get 2 Blu-ray discs, a world compendium, some stickers, postcards, and a map of the game. And there are even some stuff, some digital stuff what you can download. Yeah. The normal package looks like this. Wait, oh, it's not really decent. So, and it's equal to the paper sleeve. Unfortunately. But, and soon I show you guys, there's a catch in this case. When you open it, and this is nice, you get a welcome letter of the creator of the game. By the way, this is the German version. And I think if you buy it in Holland, Belgium, or in England, you have the same in this case. And this is always nice, you know, this is here you can see really that the maker of this game really put a lot of love into their product, because, I mean, buy a game from Electronic Arts or Ubisoft and you don't find any letters, you know, from the developer. By the way, here you can get the digital stuff if you want that, and it's for free for everybody, and that is fan service, if you ask me. Here is some stuff from some merchandise. If you want that, you can go to the store of CD Projekt Red. Yeah, and the first thing what you can see already are these stickers, and what is awesome, the sticker has an awesome coat. It's not smooth, it has texture, and I don't know if you guys can see that. It's really, really cool. Yeah, so some nice artwork and then Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, that is so awesome. Then, because the game is really, really big, you have two Blu-rays. You have the data disc. All the content are here. First, if you want to install the game, first you must put this disc in. And if you want to play the game, you put this one in. Yes. So, and besides that, we get an alternative cover, and this is just a small detail. I was expecting a little bit more because this is just the standard cover, and when you turn it around, this is the female version of your protagonist. V, by the way, is his name. So this is the only difference in this case. So if you prefer him, you can just show him. If you want her, then you can change the cover around. What is a real shame is, for us German, you always have this huge US car sticker. It would be nice if they would, in the alternative cover, if they would remove that, you know, because it doesn't look nice when we talk about presentation, you know. So this is a minor complaint, yeah. But it is nice that you get an alternative cover, you know. There you see again how much love they put in their game. Yeah, then we have the World Compendium. I hope I pronounce it correctly. By the way, there is no manual in this game, and this is okay for me, because this is more or less the manual, what tells you everything what you need to know to understand the world of Cyberpunk. So when you open it, it gives you a small history lesson about the history of Night City, how Night City got created, and what happened in the year 1990 till 2020. And then you see about the wars in the years after. This is the present, you know, just to explain everything what is going on now. Then you have the districts. They give information about the districts. And that is nice. The Badlands, for example, later you move there with if you have a car, I really recommend you to go drive with your car to the Badlands, because on foot, it's really, really a long travel. Yeah. And then, you get some information about all the special groups, the fixers, the nomads, and the gangs, you know. And then, of course, the major companies who are controlling this city, you know. Yeah. And then they talk about the capabilities, what you can do, you know, because you can upgrade your character with certain functions. I don't want to talk too much about that. Then here it's about the weapons, the implants, what you can do. And of course, the items in the vehicles. And here this is about the future of Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, and this is really, really awesome, you know. So I really like that. And I must really admit, before I played the game, I was reading this here, you know, got really into the mood, into the atmosphere of this world, what got created by CD Projekt. Yes. Then the next thing, what was completely for free, are these postcards. And I like that. Because the postcards have awesome quality, yes. And it's very shiny. And I like the art style, yes. The front looks like that, and the back looks like this. So you can really send it to somebody if you want that, you know. But of course, I will not do that. Yeah, this is Japantown. It looks so nice, huh? And this is Pacifica, yes. This is at the beach, and that looks really, really cool when you arrive there, you know. When you have just the right moment with the sunset, that is really, really awesome. Yeah, so you get this all for free, you know. So, because this is just a standard version. And sorry, I don't do any kind of propaganda, if you guys know what I mean. But I'm really happy to show this, because this is a real treat, you know, for video game collectors. Yeah, so continue. Then, and that is a really important thing, is you get a map of Night City. I mean, yeah, the game plays just in a city, but this is a huge huge city. I mean, the world is not big like Skyrim or like Oblivion, something like that. But Night City and the surrounding areas are so big, you know, you can get really lost. And a map is really helpful in this case. And wait, I want to show that to you guys. Oh, wait, I must turn it around actually. Yes. So unfortunately it's a little bit too big, so I must wait. Yeah. Yes, we do it like that, you know. So, and here is the center, here is Watson, here is Haywood, here is Westbrook, Santo Domingo, and here is the spaceport, by the way, and here's Pacifica, yes. And there's a stadium, there's a huge quest in the stadium, I remember, yeah. And so this really, really helps, you know, if you don't know. Because in the beginning, when you really start in the game, they really throw you into this world. And then it's everything a little bit too much, you know. And if you don't know the certain way where you need to go, then this is really, really helpful. A small complaint, if you ask me, but this is on a very, very high level, is the background is nothing. It's just white, unfortunately. What is a nice touch is you have here a logo, Night City, established in 1994, the City of Dreams. But it would be nice if they would put some weapon stats or some stuff, you know, some helpful information about the city. I don't know, about the gangs, you know. There would be so many possibilities to place something here on the back, you know. By the way, the paper looks specifically that it's used more or less. So this is not because of the bad quality, no. It should be like that. I hope you guys can see that. Yeah. Oh, wait, let me put this back together. I don't want to break it. So, and now really be honest. You pay 70 euro for a standard video game. You get the game, you get stickers, you get an alternative cover, you get a map, you get some awesome postcards, and you get a world compendium. This is the experience of Cyberpunk 2077. And if you really ask me, all the games, video games, what got released now should have this kind of standard like what you see here, you know, really. So I must really praise CD Projekt Red with their effort, what they do, and the game is awesome. No doubt about it. If you love cyberpunk, modern stuff, you know, in the distant future, Blade Runner like that, then you really, really will fall in love with this game. Yeah. So this is thumbs up from me on every level. Yes. With game number 3, we stay in the future, but we don't fight any gangs anymore. Now we fight dinosaur in Turok 2 Seeds of Evil. That is the classic edition from limited run that came out a couple of years ago. And that is very important. This version of Turok is Turok 2 Remastered. A couple of years ago, there was the original Turok Dinosaur Hunter Remastered for the Switch, for the PC, for the PlayStation 4, what came out through limited run also. I will review this version in a different video, yeah. I have very, very interesting history with Turok. I mean, when the PlayStation and the Nintendo 64 was on the market, of course, I had to choose. I mean, I was not a millionaire in this time, so I chose back then the PlayStation. One of the reasons was the cartridge and the game controller design of the Nintendo 64. That was a thing what really didn't, I don't know, I had till this point actually still a problem with the Nintendo 64 controller. So yeah, but there was some games what I really would like to play. Wave Race, Super Mario 64 and the original Turok. So when this game came out, I was reading the reviews in the video game magazines, and I was quite, I envy the people who had a Nintendo 64 in this time, you know. And but I had a very, very capable PC back then, and I remember I downloaded the demo of the first Turok, and the demo was just, I think, the first level, you know, before you go through the ward portal. I played this demo for, I don't know, 20, 30 times. And back then I had my first 3D graphic card. That was a Voodoo 2. And the game looked really, really awesome. Yeah. So when Night Dive announced Turok Remastered, then I knew now it's my time to get a proper version of Turok, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to have it on the Switch, because for me Turok belongs on a Nintendo console. I don't know why, because maybe it was just the first release back then. So, and then it was when they announced the second part, it was quite obviously for me to have this one on the Switch also. By the way, I back then, when Turok 2 came out, I mean the original game in 1998, I bought the PC version, and that was quite a really good game. But I wanted to have a copy for a Nintendo console also, so I bought this one. Yeah, and for 60 euro, wow, you get really something awesome. What I want to show soon. If you want this now in a used condition, like it looks now, like in the shape like it is now, you must pay something like 250 euro. So that is quite an investment now, I would say. And if you guys ask me 250 euro for that, what I soon show you, this is a little bit, the price is too much, I would say, you know. 100 euro is maybe the maximum for that, you know. If you get it cheaper, of course, go for it. I mean, soon you guys will see the content. What is really nice about the remastered version is Night Dive really enhanced everything, you know, with the help of the KEX engine. The draw distance, the soundtrack, the control scheme, the polygon count. They really add a lot of stuff, you know, what you can do with the game. You know, you can configure so many stuff like it is, like it should be, you know, on the PC, for example. Yeah, I really like that. So, one thumbs up for Night Dive in this case. They really made an awesome job with Turok 1 and Turok 2 also. By the way, if you are interested in Turok 3, you can buy this through the digital stores, for example, or you can have a retail version what came out through limited run also. Yes. But now we look at the content of the Classic Edition. And they call it Classic Edition because it mimics Nintendo 64 packaging. So with this, for example, also, and you get the seal of quality, just now it is a limited run seal of quality. And the same art design like back in 1998. And what is really fascinating already here, there is texture on top. Oh, sorry. With the camera, there's texture, so it feels like the skin of a reptile, you know. That is a nice touch, I must admit. And here is it smooth, so it really fits, you know. This is from the side, this is from the top, and the back looks like this. And what is nice also, here the seal of quality for limited run. This official seal is your assurance that limited run has approved the quality of this product. So this is a throwback to the slogan of Nintendo. Yes. And here you have some information and some screenshots. The dinosaur hunter returns. Only evil. This dark could bring him back. Only a game this big can do him justice. Yes, you have over 20 weapons, remastered locations. The enemies are smarter now. So yeah, really awesome title. Of course, if you like old school first-person shooter with and focus on exploring, because Turok 2 is quite big. Yeah, so what do we get actually? And actually the cover doesn't tell it in this case. You know what? I just open it and we just look at piece by piece. Oh shit, I was wrong actually. I didn't bought the, yes, shit, I forgot I didn't bought the Switch version. This is the PlayStation 4 version, yes. By the way, the packaging is really, really awesome. The paper is quite thick, you know, very, very stable, not thin or cheap in any kind of way. This is awesome, really awesome. Yeah, then you get the standard game, and first we look at the standard version. So this is not the Switch version, sorry, I was wrong. This is the PlayStation 4 version, yeah, just a standard version. You could bought this just like you guys see for 35 euro. So, but for me this was not enough. I wanted the classic edition because it mimics the Nintendo 64 experience a little bit, yeah. The back looks like it's the same information like with the packaging. And when you open it, you get a manual. Yeah, really awesome, a manual. And besides that, I mean, yes, you get the game on a Blu-ray disc. That's a nice print. And you get an awesome background. So this is the skin of a reptile again, and dinosaur in this case. And this is nice. This is way better than just white background, you know, because it really, the immersion of this experience really adds with this kind of graphical touches. Yes, so. And let's look first at the menu, because I mean, it's a menu, you know, and for PlayStation 4 game, because standard PlayStation 4 games doesn't have any kind of manuals. And then when you buy a game from Limited Run, you always get a very, very cool manual, yes. And here you get some artwork about your hero, Turok, Joshua Fireseed, and here are some of the enemies. What is nice with this dinosaur, when you shoot him with the arrow in the neck, actually you can see that he's holding his hands with his neck, and then he's bleeding all over the place, you know, and then he collapses in front of you. That looks really awesome. I thought back then the animation that was hyper realistic, you know, and for Germany you can imagine very, very violent. Yeah, here you have some end bosses, by the way. Lord of the Flesh. Some more enemies, and some more. It's a little, what is a shame. It would be nice if they would started the menu with introduction, you know, and explanation about the storyline and this control scheme, stuff like that, you know. It's a real waste, I must say, that if they just place only images of enemies and art design. I mean, this is nice, but first some important information about the game, you know. But this is at least my opinion. This was an end boss, I remember. Yes, and here you have some art design about the dinosaurs. And here about the surrounding areas, you know. Looks awesome, really cool. Yes, so that is the manual. Then, the first big thing, what I really, really love, this was one of the reasons why I wanted to have this, is you get a metal Nintendo 64 cartridge. This is so awesome. And that thing is fucking heavy. Really, it is heavy. And it's solid metal. Unfortunately, it's empty, but it mimics the Nintendo 64 cartridge quite well, if you ask me. And the build quality is awesome. Yes, I like that. So cool. Then you get the soundtrack, the full soundtrack from Turok 2 on a CD, not as a download. And I love this also. And this is very, very important. This is the soundtrack of the PC version, not this Nintendo 64 version. Because the CD soundtrack, I mean the PC soundtrack was a little bit more advanced than with the Nintendo 64. Yeah. So you get all the titles from the game, and the soundtrack is really, really awful. Not awful, awesome, sorry, awesome. It fits the atmosphere and the action really. So this is cool, yeah. So only complaint is you get a thin, a normal paper sleeve, not a CD jewel case, but this is okay also, I would say. Here you have the print of the CD, Yes, but I must admit, because back then when when you have the PC version from 1989, the soundtrack is already on the CD-ROM. The only thing what you need to do is just to take the MP3 files, no, I think WAV files, you just take them off the CD and you place them on your hard disk. So I had this already just in a digital version, but this is awesome that I get it on an official soundtrack CD. Yes. Then the last thing, and that is a huge poster, and this one is really big and very, very thick paper. Oh, wait. And it's 18, let me think, the size is 18 by 24 inches size. So this is, unfortunately, I can show you all of it because it's so big. Sorry. So wait, let's do it like that. So this is the top. This is just a logo. And when you turn it around, there's a second image. Yes, so awesome. And this is Turok, and he's fighting two dinosaurs. Awesome. It has a glossy touch here and on the other side also. So high quality, high quality. Yeah, so let me put this back together. And that is the whole experience what you get with the classic edition. And the question is now, do you want this version if you are a Turok fan? Oh, hell yeah. Really, hell yeah. But do you want to pay, is the price of 250 worth the money? No, not really. I mean, I paid 60 euro on release, and that was an awesome price. No complaints about that. And then if you get the game for under 100 euro, you can do nothing wrong in this case. Yeah. So the remastered version, I mean, the game itself gets a thumbs up. Awesome experience, you know, and Night Dive did a hell of a job, you know, to remaster everything, you know. And the packaging from Limited Run is an awesome thing. Yeah, so thumbs up. With the last game of this video, we move into our present time, and no, we don't kill any dinosaurs or gang members, we are just stealthy. With Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist. This game came out in August 2013 for the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360 and the PC. Yes, when you went back into a video game store and you wanted to buy a copy of Splinter Cell Blacklist, you had three options as a gamer. You just buy the standard game for the normal price of 70 euro, and there was two special edition. First, the Ultimatum edition, what I have here, and second, there was the Fifth Freedom edition. So, and both of them had different content. Soon we look at the content of the Ultimatum edition. But before that, I want to talk a little bit more about Splinter Cell. In the video game landscape, there was two major titles, you know, if you want to play stealth games. First, Metal Gear Solid, of course, and the first version came out in 1987, I think, for the MSX. Of course, I don't have this computer, and unfortunately not this version also. Or you choose Splinter Cell from Ubisoft, and this game came out in 2001 for the PC, the PlayStation 2, the original Xbox, and the GameCube. Back then, I chose the the PC version because it was the best version of all, because of frame rate, the resolution, the control scheme, and stuff like that. And I wanted the best experience. And back then, I was more a PC gamer than a console gamer. Yeah. And for me, it was quite clear why was Splinter Cell superior than Metal Gear. If we talk about storyline and presentation, then Metal Gear Solid is killing Splinter Cell with every centimeter, millimeter, or whatever. But when we talk about the possibilities, how you want to approach the problems, what the game shows you, you know. For example, you must retrieve data, and you can do it in many, many ways, you know. and you have so many possibilities to be stealthy and sneaky, and you have a lot of gadgets, you know. And this was one of the major features of this game, you know. Splinter Cell was never a series with an awesome storyline. They just gave you, with the story, a reason to be stealthy again, you know, and they delivered it. So with every update, with every new version of Splinter Cell, you could do some more stuff. For example, in the second game, you got finally a knife, you know, so you was not always to shoot people or just to choke people. You could use the knife in combat, for example, or just as an item also, you know. So yeah, and through over the time, you had many variations of Splinter Cell. If you want an awesome experience with the 4 free titles, I recommend you the Classic HD collection, for example, for the PlayStation 3. And here you get the first, the second, and the third titles remastered in HD. And these are not the PlayStation versions, these are the PC versions, by the way. You know, you can play this even in stereoscopic 3D if you want that. Yeah, and if you download the updates also, you have a better frame rate, by the way. But this is a nice experience on the PlayStation 3. It would be nice if we would have for the PlayStation 5 a remaster version also, you know. Yeah, so and now let's look at the content of the Ultimatum edition. And this is quite a funny story for me if we talk about this edition. I waited 1 year after the release to buy just a version of Blacklist. My intention was not to buy any kind of special edition. And when I went out in, let me think, I think this was in, no, I bought this in Holland in a second-hand store. I think in Utrecht. By coincidence, I just saw it and it was complete. I mean, it was used, yes, but it was complete and the price was really, really cheap. I paid just 20 euros, something like that. And I thought you can do nothing wrong in this case. And I thought, because of the title, Ultimatum Edition, I thought I get the best experience, you know. Yeah, I was wrong. And soon we will talk about that, yeah. But what do you get? First is a nice box with a soft touch, you know, that is really nice. So it feels cozy, if you know what I mean. And I like the cover, I like the design, looks awesome. And the side looks like this. This is the top and this is the back. By the way, this is, if you ask my opinion, the best Splinter Cell game till this point, because you have so many possibilities to play the game. You can be really, really sneaky, stealthy, you know, and you don't need to kill anybody. But you can do the Rambo style, you know. This is just up to you, you know. And by the way, the packaging back then, I mean, what you get for your money was really something, you know. You had the storyline, and then you, of course, you had the multiplayer modes. You could do split screen co-op. That was a big thing back then. And of course, you had the Spies versus Mercs play mode, and that you could play this online also. So this was a real treat back then, you know, and I really enjoyed the game, and I played a lot the co-op mode with my girlfriend through Blitzscreen, yes. And what it says actually, your rules, your way. You are Splinter Cell, the only secret operation authority to do whatever it takes to stop the Blacklist, a deadly series of escalating terrorist attacks. And here they tell you why this game is, in this case, so awesome. Choose your playstyle, silent as a ghost, lethal as a panther, or brutal in assault. Yes, and it depends on your game style. You get different upgrades and weapons, and that is really, really cool. And what comes with this version? Actually, you get just the collector's box. You get a watch. Really, this watch works. You get a mini comic and you get some digital content. Yeah. And for the 5th Freedom Edition, you got a Sam Fisher figure, 24 centimeter. You got a steelbook, a collector's box, and in comic also, and of course the same digital content. So, and this is what I didn't knew. I mean, the 5th Freedom Edition was the superior version compared with the Ultimatum Edition, and soon I show you guys why. So yeah, first we have a paper sleeve, and this one is a very thick one, so it's quite flexible, you know. So the quality of this one is unfortunately not so good. The box itself has this soft touch also, and I always like that. The front looks like this, exactly like with the paper sleeve, just with all the logos, and this looks nice, I must admit. And this is the side, and this is the back, you know. So the presentation is nice, I must really say. No complaints about this. So, and when we open it, you get the game, just the standard PlayStation game. You get the comic, and you get the digital watch, and then the box, just like this. So first, let's look at the standard game. Yeah, this is just the standard version of Blacklist. No surprises in this case. And yeah, you get the game on a standard Blu-ray with a small manual. Soon we will look at that. You get your digital stuff. This is the stuff what you can get. And that is a bonus map, some special goggles and some special boots, you know. I'm not a fan of stuff like this here, so you can, and you get a special outfit also. That's it actually. Besides that, there's some advertisements about the figure. And here is the manual. By the way, unfortunately, there's a white background again, so there's no alternative cover. It's a real shame. Yeah, and the manual is quite thin already for 2013. And the only thing what they really just included is the control scheme and how you set up the game. And that's it. Technical support, yeah, you know, they just tell you, you can call them or you go on the website. That's it. It's a real shame. No explanation about storyline, character design, stuff like that, and how the game works. A real shame. But hey, this is our future, unfortunately. Yeah. Then, the first complaint what I have with this version is this comic. And this is quite, oh wait, this is quite funny. This is the Ultimatum Edition. And I thought, okay, this is the full experience when we talk about the comic. No, this comic has just 24 pages, and it tells you even this is Act 1. If you bought the 5th Freedom Edition, you got 96 pages. So you got the whole comic, you know, and this is just a piece of the comic. This is a real bummer, I must say. Real bummer. I mean, the quality of the paper is awesome, and I like the presentation. And if you are interested in the storyline, you can read that, but it's just Act 1. It's just one thing. I mean, I paid normally, I mean, when you buy this game just brand new, you pay a lot of money, and what do you get is just one piece of the comic, you know. So that means you must buy the 5th Freedom Edition to get the whole experience, or you just buy the comic separately, and this was one of the things what you could do. So for example, here with this voucher, you could get a discount for 20% on the comic. What a shame. What a real shame, you know, really. So then I really asked myself, why I pay so much money for just one piece of something, you know? Why not the whole experience? Yeah. And then I thought, this on paper, this is so awesome. You get a digital watch. And first, I read you the information about the watch, and then I show the watch, okay? So there's a digital watch, 12 digits LCD display, alarm function, snooze, auto calendar, chronograph with split function, LED backlight, water splash proof, and water resistance. So, and when you saw this actually here, this looks so awesome, yeah. Reality is a different thing in this case. By the way, the packaging of the digital watch is awesome. It has shiny logo with a nice black coat, and it's slick, and I like that, and minimalistic. I like that. So, and when you open it, there is the digital watch. And the first impression, when you just look at it, you would say, hey, this is decent. But when you take this in your hands, then you know actually what is going on. Wait, let me take this out. First, the plastic feels very, very cheap. Very cheap. And this here also, this plastic. So, and then actually, yes, you have now your, how you call this? The LCD displays. You have 3 displays, and this they did this on purpose because of the goggles of Sam Fisher. This is a nice touch, you know. And with all these buttons, actually, you can do different functionalities. One of the things is it can glow in the dark, like the goggles of Splinter Cell. That is iconic also. Yeah, but the rest of this watch is really, really shit. It's a very, very cheap watch, and if you open it here, you can actually see. Wait, let me take this out, because this is everything, and you can see now here. This is very cheap plastic, no quality at all, and that is the whole thing. That is everything. And that is so cheap made, you know. I would say it's something, you could get it in a store for something like 10, 12, 15 euro, you know. So, and the thing is, the battery, what is inside, it goes for something like 1 year, then you have to remove it. And I had to do this for this video. And first, it was quite hard to open the, what is it? This thingy here, you know, to get inside. And when I replaced the battery, I saw the whole mess actually. I wanted to put it together, and then it couldn't fit anymore, you know. So, and then I saw how cheap it was made. The buttons are really cheap. The glass window, this is very cheap plastic here, you know. It's unbelievable. That the watch itself, the LCD display is bad quality. So yeah, that's it, you know. And when you remove this aluminum thing, here's the battery, and that thing is so flimsy. Oh, see, now everything is gone. Now everything is gone. The date, the time, everything is gone. Wow, awesome. Yeah, so this is huge disappointment. And now, when I was putting this back together, I was really struggling with this, and now I can't put this back anymore. The back of the watch, it will not fit anymore. And even if I force this, you can see it doesn't stick anymore. So this is so shit. Yeah, so I just leave it like that because I can't close it anymore. By the way, there is a manual in the box, and that is important. With the manual, you get explanations how you set up that thing, and yeah. And I can tell you, this is really a very, very cheap watch, you know, made in China for I don't know how much money. So yeah, and it's not a premium product, unfortunately. And yeah. And then I was really, really lucky that I just paid 20 euro for this version because, oh wait, I must put this back. I was really, really happy that I just paid 20 euro for this disaster, because if I would pay it for, I don't know, 100 euro or something, I would be so disappointed. Yeah, so what does it mean? Is the game good? Yes, the game is really, really good. And if you want to buy a special edition of Splinter Cell, go with the 5th Freedom Edition. You can do nothing wrong. At least what I heard on the internet. I don't know how is the quality of the figure, but maybe soon in the future I will find a version of, the 5th Freedom Edition, and then I can show you it here in the channel. Yeah. So the game is quite good, but the Ultimatum Edition, the content is shit, and the quality of that also. The comic is just one piece of the whole storyline. The watch is shit, and yeah, the digital content is okay, but that's it. Yeah, so this version, the Ultimatum Edition, doesn't get a thumbs up, it gets a thumbs down. Down! And that's it with this video. If you guys like my content, give me a thumbs up or subscribe. See you next time, guys, and don't forget to support your local video game store. Servus!